Welcome to Family Basics 101. I'm Dr. Bruce McClure, and as we continue our five-part series entitled 5 Things Every Child Desires, today we will talk about the desire from every child for healthy parents. We talked on yesterday about the need, the desire of every child to have a home that is secure. But according to the Blackwell Encyclopedia of Social Work, parenting is defined as the promotion of the physical, the emotional, the social, as well as the intellectual maturation of a child from infancy into adulthood. And every child desires proper parenting from infancy into early adulthood. Parenting is the actual rearing up of the child that is separate from being identified as the biological begetter of the child. So the parenting process is never to be confused with the biological process of what people would call impregnation and making sure that the child comes into the world. When we talk about parenting, parenting successfully requires individuals who are reasonably stable themselves in spheres that are planning to develop their child. So in order, if the plan is made to properly develop the child, there must be the underlying assumption that if that is to be successful, in which every child desires successful parenting, that the individuals who take on the responsibility of parenting are reasonably stable themselves in the following areas. Emotionally, if a parent is to be successful and the child desires successful parenting, then the parent must be emotionally stable. Secondly, the parent must be stable in terms of their ability to provide a social environment successful for the child to mature. Also, the child desires not only emotional and social direction from the parent, but the child also desires, as a component of successful parenting, an intellectual guidance that comes from the parent. So the parent must have a degree of intellectualism about them, not just a sophistication and IQ of 180, not that type intellectualism, but the parent must have a balance. The parent must have an understanding, an awareness, an astuteness that says, I am capable, I have the necessary resources available, and I have the necessary understanding of what it requires of me as the parent to direct this child into adulthood. Also, the child needs the relationship from the parent, a healthy parent-to-child relationship. So often, parents want to be the child's best friend. Let the child get a best friend, their peer, but it is not the responsibility of the parent to relationally be the best friend of your child. In fact, children really don't want the parent to be their best friend. What the child desires of the parent and what the child really needs is someone to take on the responsibility of leading that child from young adulthood, from young childhood, infancy, into young adulthood. And what the child really needs from the parent is spiritual direction. The child needs someone to direct them in ways that are right, that are wholesome, that are moral, that are godly. And the child's desire is for that direction to really come from their parent. When we talk about the things that children desire relative to parenting, according to the National Institute of Health and most other parenting professionals, indeed there is no one exact way to parent. But what is agreed upon, whether it's from the National Institute of Health or other parenting professionals, is that all successful parenting requires the following components. Keeping the child safe is paramount, and that's the desire of every child to come from their parents. Secondly, every child desires, and every professional will agree, that showing proper affection and listening to the child is paramount in properly moving a child from infancy into young adulthood. And children desire that the adults, the parents, show affection and that they listen to the children. All professionals will agree that a need of the child is for providing order and consistency. Where there is no order or no expectations of consistency, the child is in a state of flux. They don't know what each day is to be like. Fourthly, children expect and they desire that the parents set limits and enforce limits that are fair. Not that are cruel, not that are harsh, not that are bitter, but children desire that there be limits and that those limits which are fair are enforced. Fifth, children desire from parents that the parents spend time with their children. Not time just working, but just relaxation time, recreational time, study time, conversational time, just time with the child. Every child desires that the parents spend time with the child. Also, the child, number 6, requires and desires that the parent provides proper monitoring of the children's activities and the fringe. Children desire that the parents are interested and are inquiring, inquisitive of who are these people that you're hanging out with. What do you expect of the child? The parent wants to know who the people are, where they're going, and who they're going to be with. Number 7, children desire of their parents that the parent leads by example. The child wants to follow someone. They will follow the crowd. They will follow their peers. But the child really desire that they follow their parent, but they want their parent to lead by example. And the irony is, for the most part, whatever example the parent decides to put before the child, for all practical purposes, that is going to be what the child follows. The child also desires parents, number 8, who loves one another. One of the best gifts that parents can give to their children is for their children to see an unpretentious love for those parents. And also, children desire parents who have an affection for God. In the book of Proverbs 22, verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The word train simply means to dedicate, child, the newborn, but it also means newborn to young manhood, according to Genesis 34:19. The way is the journey, the character, the path. Train up the child in the character that it should go open into, that the child opens up into. And when that child is old, when the child begins to age, that child will not avoid or reject or cease from the training that you have provided. I'll see you back in class again next time. Don't be late and don't skip class.